Hey, I'm Rob Sakalas. Welcome back to my series, which is Escaping Becoming Average After Graduation. Today, we're going to take on a really important topic. The topic is all about deciding what success is to you. I know this sounds kind of, simple, but it isn't. Success is different to every single person on earth. There's no doubt in my mind. You have to absolutely decide for yourself what success means so that you know what you're chasing. All of us have a problem. If you don't have clarity, if you don't have true north, you absolutely don't know where you're going. You cannot hit a target that you can't see, and you have to see it in your mind's eye. Getting out of college, if you take a survey of all your compadres, I think the survey would come back with number one, money, number two, fame. But in the long run, you're going to discover that money and fame are absolutely not the only goals in life. There's no doubt if you're obsessed about one thing. So let's say you are obsessed about money. Bernie Madoff, great example. Obsessed about money. What happened to him? He created a Ponzi scheme in the long run, took investor money, used one investor's money to pay off the other. He's going to be in prison for the rest of his life. Was that obsession good? No, it really wasn't. But one target's easier. You may have seen the documentary by Alex Honnold, right? This is the guy who climbed El Capitan. Free Solo is the name of it, by the way, but absolutely worth watching. I think it's on Netflix or maybe Amazon Prime. But the whole point is, he's dedicated his entire life to scaling cliffs without using ropes. And sure, if you're focused on one thing, you can absolutely accomplish it. But he's not exactly, got a great other life. He's got one life only, to be this amazing free solo climber. When you start trying to figure out how to balance your life across different aspects, which I think the majority of us really want to do, it becomes a lot harder. There's no doubt about it. If you get married, if you have kids, if you have parents that you're responsible for, if you have colleagues and associates and friends and everything else, if you want to stay in good fitness, right? All these things have to be balanced, and things get a little bit trickier. All these roles need a target. You have to decide what you want each role to look like. So a good question to understand, I think, first and foremost, is understanding what wealthy really means to you. Very few people would say, hey, I want to be financially rich, but at the expense of my health. No, you've got to have health to enjoy those finances. I want to become financially rich, but I don't want to have any good relationships in my life. Each relationship, by the way, takes a lot of time, right? So if you start thinking about all the aspects of wealthy, and I've got an article written, I'll put the link up on the screen here, but there's just a lot of them, and you have to decide which ones are most important to you, right? It starts with things like health and integrity, right? If you sell your soul to become rich, is that great? No, I don't think so, right? Do you have faith? Do you have family? Do you have freedom? I mean, in America especially, we value our freedom. Do you have courage, right? Do you have a wealth of mentors and colleagues? How's your EQ? How's your SQ? How's your IQ, right? Do you have the energy it takes to have an awesome life? All these things matter. None of them may matter more than having some willpower to get it done and some optimism along the way so you believe you can actually achieve. In the end, all of us have an end, by the way. What are the 20 words that you'd like to see in marble on your tombstone that define your life? Very few people want to say, oh, I got famous for a day, and that was all there was. Or I got rich, but I had no friendships, right? You have to decide for yourself where you want to go. Once you've decided, it helps. And the deciding almost always comes to, what's my purpose for being here? One person might decide, look, my purpose is to help people heal. But then that can take on a lot of different aspects. The sooner you write down in draft form, the better off you are. And I get it. You just graduated college. You're like, dude, why are you telling me to write down my purpose? But the sooner you do it, the better off you will be. There's no doubt in my mind. Once you have your purpose, you can then have a vision. So let's say you're the guy who said, I want to help people be healthy. That can take on a lot of different forms. One of them might be a surgeon, right? You're cutting on them, helping them heal. Another person might say, no, I want to be a physical therapist, helping people recover from injuries. Another person might say, no, I want to be a scientist that's coming up with the next pharmaceutical that will help relieve all back pain in the world. What an amazing thing that would be. So the whole point is, Purpose leads to vision, and the vision can be very different for each person, right? You got to consider and write down where you want to be by the roles that you imagine you're going to have in life. So, what success is to you in your career may be very different than what it is on the home front, what it is with the family, what it is for fitness, what it is for faith, what it is for your parents, right? So there's lots of different roles, but I can tell you, there's no doubt in my mind, there's so many examples of this. If you're too self-centered in your approach, it tends to lead to self-destruction. So when you envision your life, think of it in terms of years, right? Where do I want to be 5 years from now in this role? Where do I want to be from it 10 years, 20 years, 30 years out? It'll kind of help you define that target, that incredibly important target, and you'll understand what success actually means. Once you do, you can apply all your energies to achieving it. Once you know where you're going, don't overthink it. It takes massive, committed action to accomplish anything. If you just dip a toe in the water, you tend not to succeed. Here is a list of just some starter roles, and these roles will not apply to everybody, but you'll get the basic idea. And just put down 3 bullets on paper for each one of these. What would success be as a parent? What would success be as a spouse? What would be success in your career? What would be success for finances and health and everything else? It's a great place to start. And once you get there, get going. Bottom line. Establish the habits you need to make that goal successful, and then recalibrate maybe twice a year, maybe 4 times a year, to make sure that what you're thinking about today is still in line with what you wrote down 6 months ago. You're going to find out over time. You have to fine-tune your vision. You have to decide what's important to you now. Don't forget to subscribe below. Thanks for joining me for this episode. Next episode, we're going to start talking about the habits that are going to help you succeed.